Hi, it's Steve from mytoolkit.co.uk. As you probably know, stapling and nailing supplies. And today what I'm going to talk about, very briefly, is airlines and quick release couplings. And as you've probably seen on our site, we do have ready-made airlines, 5 metre, 10 metre and 15 metre, with quick release couplings fitted on either end. Obviously a male on one end and a female coupling on the other. Male would go into the compressor and the female coupling here to the tool on the other end, whether it be a staple gun or a nail gun. The airline fittings, there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. We get lots of phone calls and people would say, you know, it's a little stubby one with a groove around it, or it's very smooth. And I'm going to concentrate just on two most popular fittings that we here at My Toolkit tend to deal with, and that is the PCL, which you'll see on the site. That's the male fitting that goes into the tool. It tends to be quite standard that it's a 1/4 BSP in most of the tools that we sell. The other fitting is the Uni-flo. And these airlines are actually made up with the Uni-flo fittings. And because a lot of the compressors these days are coming throughout Europe, the fittings on the compressors tend to be the Uni-flo. And you get various couplings with tails on, which can be dubly clipped on, or just the threads there, 1/4 BSP, either male or female. But as I said, these are ready-made airlines. So you can just plug that into the compressor and away you go. After an airline from a compressor, you may want to put a splitter in. Again, a quick release coupling there, and then it'll split to 2 airlines. And they can be provided. And it just stops having 2 lines directly at the compressor. You can be split further down the line. And on that point as well, I'd always try and use the shortest airline possible, especially in the workplace. Or even at home. You wouldn't want an airline travelling, just trailing all over the floor. You can sort of add the airline to it, so a 5 metre plus a 5 metre. And then when you're working more closely, just use the 5 metre one. Now what I want to do, I'll just move those fittings there. This little compressor here, it's the 8 litre, you might recognise it off our range. But that's got the coupling there, which is the Uni-flo, and it's actually charged up. Because I did get a phone call quite recently about a lady saying, how do I connect my airline? And they are very stiff, the fittings. That's the male fitting there. If I just offer that to the coupling, it is just a snapshot. What she's probably didn't want to use that much force, but bear in mind there's some strong springs there, because when we release the collar and pull the airline away, it shuts off the airflow. And with this charge, you'll hear that small amount of air come out there. Coupling the other end, staple gun in this case, as you can see, that would just snap on, and there we go. As you can see, it actually swivels within that coupling. So there's your airlines there, connection to the compressor through to the nail staple gun. You do come across the coil airlines. I've seen these being used where they're actually trailing along the floor. It's not what they're made for. Ideally, this wants to be suspended above a workbench, and this one, would you believe, is actually a 5 metre working length. So ideally, if this was a workbench in front of me, over the centre of the workbench, and then you can work around, you can see it's nice and tidy. The other options, we do have them on the website, are the retractable airlines, and they can be fitted wall mounted. They actually swivel, but just to show you here, what you can actually do is just release the amount of airline you want and it locks, just a quick tug and it will retract. So that's another option as well. So you've got your straight airlines, coil, retractable airline hoses. So I just hope I've just cleared up 1 or 2 of the points about connections and the Uni-flo and the PCL there. There are other ones on the market. You probably heard names like Schrader, etc., but these are the most common ones. So that's it all for again this week, so I'll see you again soon. You take care.